Katie Books Productions presents an original podcast, Manhunt, written, produced, and narrated by Earl Sewell. It had cost $150 to have her car towed back from the police pound and an additional $50 parking violation fee for parking in front of a fire hydrant. I'm broke as hell, Carmen muttered to herself as she approached her building. She walked into the courtway and over to the door. She let herself inside and walked up a few steps and entered her condo. She walked into the kitchen, opened up the refrigerator door, and pulled out the half-gallon container of Ben & Jerry's chocolate ice cream, along with a 2-liter bottle of Pepsi. She poured herself a cold glass of Pepsi, then headed to her bedroom, carrying everything she needed. She sat her drink on the nightstand and moved over to the television, which was situated atop of her dresser. She grabbed the television remote and then her ice cream. She turned on the TV just in time to catch a segment of the evening news. Today, on the city's south side, there was a fatal hit-and-run accident. What was supposed to be a fun summer outing for a father and his daughter quickly turned tragic when the driver of an out-of-control vehicle veered off of Lakeshore Drive, striking and killing the young girl. The driver of the vehicle then fled the scene, even though witnesses tried to restrain him until police arrived. An eyewitness saw the entire tragic event. Carmen was thunderstruck as she listened to a man wearing a Chicago White Sox t-shirt describing what happened. "It was the most horrible thing I've ever seen," the man said. "I was jogging along the path when I saw the SUV come speeding across the grass and onto the path. When the father saw the out-of-control car, he called out his daughter's name. When she stopped to see what he wanted, the vehicle slammed right into her. It was horrible. I'm still shaking from what I saw. It was horrific." Carmen gasped at the eyewitness account. The newscaster continued with the rest of the details. "Chicago area detectives are now searching for that vehicle which fled the scene and the person who was driving it. If you have any information..." Carmen clicked the remote on her TV and started her movie. Listening to the story about the little girl was depressing her even more than she already was. She loved children, which was the reason that she'd become a school teacher. Carmen couldn't wait to become a mother herself. More often than not, she found herself stopping by the baby department whenever she went out shopping. She enjoyed looking at the different styles of baby cribs, blankets, and outfits. The tiny bibs, socks, and undershirts warmed her heart. She would often daydream and think that if she had a little girl, she'd dress her up in little beautiful dresses with matching shoes and ribbons in her hair. If she had a little boy, she'd dress him up in blue jean outfits that snapped apart, making it easy to change his pamper. Now that she'd turned 30, the yearning for a child increased. On several occasions, she thought about just going down to the fertility clinic and picking out some sperm. But she didn't have the guts to do that. Just as Carmen's movie was getting interesting, someone buzzed the doorbell. Not expecting any company, she had half a mind not to answer it. She paused her movie and headed over to the intercom system on the wall next to the front door. "Who is it?" she asked. "It's me, Nikki. Open up the door." Carmen buzzed her sister into the building. Nikki walked in the door, wearing a low-cut blouse that revealed more cleavage than necessary. She also had on tight shorts that clung to her behind so snugly that Carmen could see her ass cheeks plopping out from beneath the fabric as she walked past her. "What's wrong with the people in your high-priced condo?" Nikki scoffed. "Your snobby neighbor was acting as if I was a prostitute or something." "I thought you were into that sort of thing. I thought you liked men ogling at you," Carmen commented as she shut the door and locked it. She followed Nikki through the corridor past the dining room where her cherry wood dinette table was perfectly set. Nikki went into the kitchen and sat down at Carmen's small kitchen table. Carmen opened the back door that was in the kitchen, which led to the back porch. Once the door was open, it displayed an unimpressive view of garage rooftops and the Metro Railroad tracks. "So, what are you doing in here?" Nikki queried as she surveyed Carmen's spotless kitchen, wondering to herself if the countertops had ever been used for cooking. "I was just watching a movie and eating ice cream," Carmen spoke with indifference. "What are you all upset about?" Nikki asked, knowing her sister's habits all too well. "What are you talking about?" Carmen replied, not wanting to disclose anything to Nikki. "I know you. Whenever something is bothering you, the first thing you do is start eating ice cream. Let me guess. Chocolate, right?" Nikki asked. "No," Carmen lied with a smile. "Daddy always made you feel better with food whenever you were upset. He catered to your every mood." Nikki had a slight tone of bitterness in her voice. "What's that supposed to mean?" Carmen answered sharply, sensing an unwanted argument on the horizon. They locked their gaze upon each other as silence hung in the air, threatening to erupt if the course of the conversation didn't change. "Do you have anything to drink?" Nikki asked. Carmen exhaled as she opened up the cabinet above her sink. She pulled down a small glass and then opened up the refrigerator. "Will papaya juice work for you?" Carmen asked. "Do you have any gin?" Nikki asked. "No, I don't have any gin," Carmen answered. Nikki hadn't been there a solid 10 minutes, and she was already annoying Carmen. Carmen contained her attitude as best as she could, because the last thing she wanted was to get into a bitter argument with her sister. They'd come a very long way since Nikki's high school days, and Carmen was so encouraged by the fact that she and Nikki were on speaking terms again. Carmen was actually glad that Nikki dropped by because she wanted to talk to her about a program she'd found at a community college for people who needed to go back to school and get their GED. Carmen knew Papa had to be turning over in his grave, knowing that one of his daughters was working as a peep show girl, exposing her body to strange men for small change. It was obvious Nikki didn't like what she was doing by the way she complained about men ogling at her when she entered into the building. But Nikki would never admit that she didn't like what she was doing. She was stubborn like that, but Carmen knew Nikki better than she thought she did. Carmen wasn't going to give up on her sister because she loved her so much, and she wanted Nikki to see and trust in her potential. "Let me see that photo that's stuck over on the refrigerator door," Nikki said as she eyed the photo from afar. Carmen handed her the old family photo. "I remember this day," Nikki said with a smile. "We were having a backyard barbecue," Nikki said as she studied the photo of her, Carmen, their father Anthony, and their mother. "We all looked so happy back then. Daddy loved me. He loved all of us. And he always wanted the best for the family, Nikki whispered as she glared at the photo. Carmen noticed tears beginning to fill Nikki's eyes. Take it if you want it. Carmen viewed Nikki's sudden emotional state as a breakthrough. She was happy to see that Nikki was recalling some of the lessons their father was trying to instill in them. I need to go to the bathroom, Nikki said abruptly as she got up and dashed away. Carmen deduced that seeing the photo of herself before she took the wrong path was a little overpowering. Carmen sighed and then began to think about the past as she waited for Nikki to return. The night before their father's death, the three of them were sitting at the dining room table. Anthony, their father, had light caramel skin and beautiful curly black hair. He was a tall man with deep-set eyes, thick eyebrows, and a charming smile. Anthony was sitting at the dinner table helping Nikki study for a big science exam. Carmen had just entered the room with a calculator and the family bills. Papa, the phone bill is high this month. In fact, it's doubled since last month. It's up to $120, Carmen mentioned to her father. She'd become the budget manager of the house shortly after her mother passed away. What? How did it get that high? Anthony was not pleased to hear about the high bill. I don't know. I haven't been using the phone. Have you made any long-distance calls? Carmen asked. No. Check the phone log to see where $150 worth of calls were made to. Carmen knew the extra expense of the phone bill agitated him. The family was accustomed to living off of two incomes, but when her mother passed on, the loss of income placed them in a financial strain. While Carmen reviewed the bill, Anthony quizzed Nikki for her exam. You are so astute. I get the feeling you're going to be a scientist when you grow up. Nikki was a type of young lady that always needed extra encouragement because she struggled as a student. Anthony understood that and gave her bundles of love and support. Really, Papa? Do you think I can be a scientist? Nikki asked, not truly believing in herself or Anthony's assessment of her intelligence. Of course I do, Nikki. When you apply yourself, that brilliant mind of yours shines through. What I think is that you're so smart that you intimidate the other kids in your 8th grade class, which is why they pick on you sometimes and try to make you feel less intelligent than you are. Anthony paused and smiled at Nikki. You have to stop allowing other people to sell you bad energy. You have to be your own person. You have to be confident and strong. Anthony continued to plant seeds of knowledge so that Nikki could grow mentally and emotionally stronger. It seems as if a majority of the phone calls were made past 10:30 at night and were made to this number. Carmen pointed out the number to her father. Wait a minute. No one but me is allowed to be on the phone after 9 o'clock, and I haven't been on the phone. Anthony took the bill and reviewed it more closely. Well, it wasn't me, Carmen said quickly. I know we're on a tight budget. I'll bet Nikki has been slipping around, calling that tack-headed boy down the street she calls herself liking. Carmen accused her sister. You need to get out of my business and get some of your own. Nikki barked back at Carmen for ratting her out. You're not old enough to have any business. Carmen matched Nikki's anger and resentment. Hey, both of you shut your mouths right now. Their father's heavy, commanding voice boomed over theirs. Carmen, you're older and should have more self-control over your outbursts. Nikki. Anthony turned his focus to her. Nikki folded her arms across her chest and stared at a corner in the ceiling, dreading the lecture she was about to get. Look at me when I'm talking to you. Her father snapped at her. Nikki challenged him by not complying with his order. You've got 3 seconds to roll your eyes down from your head before I twist your neck off. Nikki reluctantly met his gaze. Anthony leaned in close to her, meeting her gaze, refusing to let it go. You know the rules of this house. We don't lie to each other, we respect each other, and we don't sneak around. Understood? Anthony thumped his index finger against the table several times. I haven't been sneaking around, Papa. Nikki lied. I would never sneak around behind your back. Yeah, right. Carmen knew that Nikki was trying to stick to her lie, even though she was clearly busted. Carmen, Anthony gave her a warning. If you sneak around on the phone, you will sneak around out in the street, and no daughter of mine is going to be sneaking around behind my back. Anthony was very firm with Nikki. That is not an option. My job as your father is to educate you, love you, and provide a good home for you. I'm not raising some young lady who can't take care of herself and has to resort to dancing on a pole at a strip club. Anthony's intense gaze upon Nikki made her feel horrible, and her tears began to flow. But I'm not doing anything like that, Dad. Nikki fired back as tears began to run down like a waterfall. I don't want you sneaking around with some young man whose only desire is to get between your thighs. Anthony didn't tone down his words. He was very direct and very clear. Nikki, I'm disappointed with you. After your mother died, the 3 of us sat down and discussed what we'd have to do to make it in order to live off of just my income. We are on a budget, and you've caused us to go over it. So, in order for us to get back on track, you are going to have to find a way to save $100. When the Sunday paper arrives, it will be your responsibility to clip coupons. Papa, I don't want to clip coupons. I hate it when we go to the store and hold up the line with a stack of coupons. It's embarrassing. I feel as if we're on welfare or something. I don't care if you're embarrassed. Anthony was angry at her for saying that. I'm doing the best that I can, Nikki, and I'm not going to let you or anyone else make me feel bad because things are a little tight. Anthony's jaws were clenched. It was a clear indication to Nikki that he meant every word he said. Fine, Nikki answered defiantly. Good. Now you're grounded for 2 weeks. No television and no phone privileges for you. You and I are going to continue our conversation about boys as soon as I'm finished writing the monthly checks. My life sucks, Nikki grumbled. Can I go to my room? Nikki asked. Yes, Anthony said. Nikki got up and left the room, stomping her feet in protest before allowing herself to burst into tears. This place is like a prison, she shouted as she hustled up the stairs to her bedroom. I don't know what I'm going to do with her, Anthony griped. She's becoming very defiant, and I don't understand why. Hormones, Dad, Carmen said to him. What? Anthony didn't fully understand. It's her hormones. I don't think you'll ever be able to fully understand what a woman goes through, Carmen tried to explain. Well, you're older now. Help me understand. Anthony truly wanted to know her point of view. I'll talk to her, Dad. Maybe she'll listen to me, Carmen offered, hoping to ease some of her father's burden. No need for that, Carmen. Anthony wasn't about to shift his burdens onto Carmen. Nikki is being difficult for a reason, which I'm going to find out why. Being hard-headed is no way to go through life. Nikki has a tendency to lie to me, and I don't like it. I will not have my daughter sneaking around behind my back like some wayward hound. Anthony raised his voice in anger. My daughter will not be the type of young lady that has a gang of boys trailing behind her to sniff her ass. My mother was that type of woman. As one man entered the door, another one was running out the back. Anthony paused and sighed. Let me see the bills, he said, and then began the process of writing checks.
I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and
Nikki returned from the bathroom and guzzled down her papaya juice. Carmen waited, searching for the perfect moment to present Nikki with her proposal about going back to school and obtaining a GED. I need $100 from you, Nikki said as she slammed down her glass. What? Carmen asked, not expecting her sister to ask for money. You heard me the first time. Why do I have to repeat it? Nikki's words, demanding and forceful. Nikki, I don't have $100 to give you, especially right now with my car in need of repairs, Carmen added with a sigh. Yes, you do, Carmen. You always have money. Don't you want to help me? Nikki attempted to make her sister feel guilty. Help you with what? Carmen asked. I'm in a jam with one of my bills. When I get paid, I'll get it back to you, Nikki said. Get paid? Did you get yourself a regular job? Carmen asked with a bit of hope. No, but I've met this dude with some big connections. His name is Packard. He's about to make some moves and open up this gentleman's club called Big Daddy's, where I can dance. He said, with my sexy looks and hot body, I can pull in big money, as much as $1,000 a night. A gentleman's club, Nikki? Carmen was extremely disappointed. I'll be doing the exact same thing I'm doing now, Miss Judgmental. The only thing that will change is I'll be making twice as much money, and I don't see a problem with that. I'm afraid for you, Nikki, Carmen said, taking Nikki's empty glass and placing it in the sink to be washed later. Afraid? Why? It's safer than being a peep show girl at the adult bookstore. I'm tired of exposing myself for chump change. I'm ready to make some big money. Packard even talked about taking me to Las Vegas. He knows some high rollers out there who are always looking for girls like me. You see, that's what I mean. Carmen had found the opportunity to question if Nikki was really happy doing what she was doing. You don't sound as if you're very happy with your life. I found a GED program you can take. You can go to school and get your diploma and take a decent job. In fact, I'm sure I could pull a few strings with the principal at my school and get you a clerical job in the office at the school while you go through the program. Carmen sat back down at the table with Nikki and noticed how she tilted her chair up on its hind legs and allowed the back of the chair to land against the wall. You could move back in with me, Nikki. As long as you continued working towards getting your diploma, I wouldn't ask you for anything." Carmen paused and thought for a brief moment, then stood up and went to her bedroom to retrieve the paperwork for the program. "So, what do you think?" Carmen asked upon her return. "Let me ask you something. Every 2 weeks, you get a paycheck, right?" Nikki asked. "Yeah, so?" "School teachers make about, what, 41 or 42,000 a year? When you break that down, it comes out to be about $1,000 a week. If 10 dudes come into Big Daddy's and spend $100, I've made your salary in one night. If more men come in, then I'll make above and beyond your salary. We're talking cash money here, Carmen. I don't have to worry about taxes or anything. Being an exotic dancer is simple. It's all about catering to men and their ego. It's about giving them the illusion that they're God's gift to women. You don't have to deal with the government taking your hard-earned money and deal with the IRS at tax time. Teaching is a respectable job, Nikki." Nikki's hard-headedness was exasperating Carmen. "I don't want you to have to strip for a living because you dropped out of high school. You're so smart, Nikki. All you have to do is apply yourself." "Oh boy, here we go. Now you're sounding like Daddy trying to make everything in the world about hard work and respect." "He worked his ass off 24/7 and barely had enough money left over to put food on the table. I'm not going to be like that. I'm going to get paid. And if showing my ass to the world puts cash in my pocket, then that's what I'm going to do." Think about your future, Nikki. You are not going to have your looks forever. What then? What happens if you get sick or need medical attention? How are you going to cover the bills? What about a retirement plan for when you grow old? Shit. I'll be like everyone else and go down to the county hospital if I get sick. They don't charge. As far as getting old goes, I haven't figured that one out yet." "Nikki, you're missing my point." Carmen was growing tired of batting wits with Nikki. "What point? That you think because you have some rinky-dink job as a school teacher, you feel as if you're better than me?" "Nikki, this is not about me, it's about you. I worry about you. You can do so much more with your life." "Well, that's why it's my life and not yours. I can do what I want, when I want, how I want. I'm a grown woman now, and I don't need to listen to your lectures." "Nikki, I'm not trying to lecture you," Carmen said, trying to ease the tension in the air. Carmen tried to take a different approach. "Nikki, you are right. You are a grown woman, and I'm not in the business of trying to raise grown folks. All I want you to do is consider what I have said. Okay?" "You know what?" Nikki got offended. "I don't need your judgmental ass talking to me like I'm some kind of idiot." "Nikki, let's not fight. I don't want to fight with you. I only want to see you do better for yourself, that's all." "No, Carmen. You want me to be just like you. And I'll never be like you, and I don't want to be like you. Shit. I didn't have to ask this hard for money from Daddy. It was easy to get it from him. In fact, had you been woman enough to call for help on the night he died, he would still be here, and we wouldn't be having this conversation. Now would we?" Nikki's words were filled with animosity and ill will. You didn't have to say that, Nikki. That was a low blow, Carmen said, not willing to take Nikki's insult or criticism.
Well, the truth hurts now, doesn't it?
Nikki's heart was filled with disgust.
Is that what you came over here for, Nikki?
Carmen was now upset, and it was apparent by the inflections in her voice.
To make me feel like shit about what happened. I can't change the past. I wish I could, but I can't.
Nikki and Carmen glared at each other, neither one willing to back down.
So, are you going to loan me the money or what?
Nikki asked without shame or embarrassment.
Tell you what, I'll loan you the money if you will agree to at least go down to the place and register for school, Carmen said.
Nikki rolled her eyes a bit before she answered.
Yeah, okay. I'll do it.
I'm serious, Nikki. I'll even go down there with you, Carmen said.
Damn, I said I would.
Nikki fired back, annoyed.
What more do you want?
Nikki had grown tired of hearing Carmen's terms. Give me a moment to get dressed, and I'll walk down to a gas station, Carmen said, as she walked towards her bedroom.